Let's add assessments content to our FreshAiR Reality. There are two types of assessment content to choose from: multiple choice assessments and fill-in-the-blank assessments. Let's create a multiple choice assessment type by clicking on Create New and choosing multiple choice from the listing. Filling out this assessment content is very similar to how we filled out other content earlier. You add a question, title, and the actual question that users of your FreshAiR Reality will see. For multiple choice assessment types, you can add as many answers as you wish by clicking the Add an Answer button. Let's add 4 answers for this question. Once you've added all the answers you want to, make sure to fill out which ones are the correct answers. What color is the sky during the day? At noon, correct answers would most likely be blue or cyan. Notice for multiple choice questions, you can have more than one correct answer choice. Next, you want to pick whether your answer presentation is randomized or not. This will determine whether the answers are presented in the order you put them in here when users are playing them in the FreshAiR app, or whether they'll appear in a random order. Like other content types, you can associate audio with your content by clicking on this audio button. For now, we'll leave that blank. For assessment question types, you can choose what kind of feedback the user will see when they answer the question. If you click on the drop-down under Feedback, you'll see that the choices are None, Automatic, and Custom. None is pretty obvious. The user will click an answer, and they won't actually see any feedback whatsoever. If you put Automatic, they'll see a simple "You've gotten the answer correct" or "You've gotten the answer wrong" dialog box pop up after they've answered the question. If you put it on Custom, you actually have the opportunity to pick other content you've created or you choose to create on the fly, both for the correct answer and for the incorrect answer. Let's fill in custom feedback for both correct and incorrect for this assessment. To do so, I'm going to hover over the correct feedback first to click on Pick Other. You'll see that it allows me to pick existing content I've already created or hit Create New. For the sake of this example, let's use this one that says, "Good job, you've got it right, please continue." To do so, I'll hover over it and hit Select. You'll see it actually applies that content into the assessment box here. I want to do the same thing for incorrect by hovering over it and hitting Pick Other. And it looks like this text that says, "Sorry, that's not it, please try again," will be a good fit. So I want to hover over that and hit Select. Great. The last component of assessments that you can actually determine is whether the user will actually get infinite attempts or not at attempting to solve the problem. If you have the infinite attempts checkbox checked, the user will simply be able to try the assessment over and over again until they complete it with the right answer. If you uncheck the box, you can actually determine how many times the player gets to attempt to answer the question. You'll set this by typing in a number or pressing up and down on the arrows in this box. For now, let's leave it to infinite attempts. Fill-in-the-blank assessments work similarly. To create a fill-in-the-blank assessment, hit Create New and choose Fill-in-the-blank from the list. You're going to want to enter in your content title, the question, and a few answers to choose from. Much like multiple choice, you can have as many answers as you wish. As this is a fill-in-the-blank type, any answer you choose from here is the correct answer. Unlike multiple choice, where you're putting both correct and incorrect answers and then setting them whether they're correct or not, for fill-in-the-blank, you're only entering correct answers. This is important to realize. If you make an open-ended question, make sure you cover all the possible answers a user might think of. In this case, name a pet that has 4 legs is probably a poor choice for an example because there's many different types of pets that have 4 legs and it would be difficult to think of them all. Make sure you think this through when you're creating your assessments. For the sake of brevity, I'm going to simply put dog, cat, and rat. I can associate audio with this type of content, and also, much like multiple choice, I can choose what kind of feedback I'd like. Lastly, I can also determine how many attempts the user will have in answering this assessment correctly. For this one, I'd like to choose 2 attempts to answer the question. At that point, if the user still doesn't get the answer right by typing in the correct fill-in-the-blank that associates with any of the answers you've listed, the user will get the assessment wrong. We've now covered all 6 types of content. In subsequent tutorials, we'll actually show you how to populate this content into triggers. Triggers trigger content that you choose based on criteria that you set up and specify, such as locations or at the start of the reality.